Colleen deactivated her Instagram on January 21st.
Colleen Hoover completely destroyed Blake Lively live on Instagram, and honestly, it was the plot twist none of us saw coming, leaving everyone stunned and the internet buzzing nonstop.
Lively manipulated her audiences and lied to her audiences.
The same Colleen Hoover, who once couldn't stop gushing about Blake, calling her kind and honest, has now completely wiped her Instagram of any trace of the It Ends With Us star. That's right. The queen of tear-jerking novels apparently had enough of Blake's soap opera-worthy antics and hit the digital delete button, erasing years of praise and association in one swift, unmistakable move.
The more time we got to spend with Blake Lively, the less we liked her.
Because, let's be real, who could possibly keep up with the endless drama Blake and her equally famous husband Ryan Reynolds have been serving the world? The shift was subtle at first. Hoover, known for her sweet Instagram posts and down-to-earth personality, suddenly went quiet as the legal storm between Blake and Justinbaldoni exploded, signaling that even longtime supporters were stepping back in disbelief at the escalating chaos.
The tables turned very quickly against Colleen. People expected her to then now give a more informed answer, a more informed response as to how she could have gone along with what is appearing to be such obvious forms of.
Fans noticed the first red flag when Hoover temporarily deactivated her Instagram, but when she returned, the second red flag was impossible to miss. Every single photo of Blake was gone. Poof, deleted. Hoover didn't just step away from the mess. She sprinted in the opposite direction. And honestly, good for her. Blake's diva antics and PR stunts might work in Hollywood, but Colleen Hoover has novels to write and a reputation to protect.
Justinbaldoni claims she tried to take over his movie because she has a history of saying, okay, I'll be the star, but what I secretly want to do is direct it and edit it and produce.
Apparently, Hoover has had enough of being dragged into the circus that is Blake Lively's life. Between the legal drama, creative clashes, and Blake allegedly rewriting her own narrative, it seems Hoover finally realized that the real story wasn't so inspiring after all. Fans noticed that while Hoover has kept her distance from Blake, she still follows Baldoni on Instagram, a subtle shade, or perhaps just another way to make it clear where her loyalty stands. Either way, the message is loud and unmistakable. She's done with Blake's Queen of Chaos act.
Baldoni, who's not as well known. And see, they've been following the story. So he optioned this book called It Ends With Us, and it's about domestic violence. And he managed to get Blake Lively to star in his movie, Across.
Let's take a look back to when it all started. Colleen Hoover, Justinbaldoni, and Blake Lively. These three names quickly became the center of one of the most explosive controversies Hollywood has seen in years. With It Ends With Us, Hoover's best-selling novel making the jump from page to screen, the project seemed destined for success, and fans had every reason to be excited. A powerhouse cast, a director celebrated for emotional storytelling, and an author whose books have captivated millions worldwide. But what could go wrong? Well, everything.
Hoover, okay? That is the author of It Ends With Us, who text messages, emails, interviews, all of the proof that is out there in the public shows us that she positively adored Justinbaldoni.
It all started so well. Colleen Hoover decided to bring her heartfelt story, It Ends With Us, to life on the big screen. This wasn't just another romance novel. It was a powerful tale of heartbreak, survival, and resilience. Fans adored it, Hollywood took notice, and soon the project was moving forward in full swing, filled with promise and excitement for what could be a landmark adaptation.
She asked him herself to play Ryle in the movie, and things were great until Blake Lively, right?
And she had complete trust in Justinbaldoni. Baldoni, known for directing films like 5 Feet Apart and celebrated for his reputation as a kind, thoughtful filmmaker who emphasizes love and empathy, seemed like the perfect choice to lead the project. Colleen Hoover was thrilled, even sending emails full of praise, expressing her confidence in his ability to do justice to her beloved story. At this point, everything seemed to be falling perfectly into place, with the team aligned and fans eagerly anticipating the adaptation.
Blake Lively. She's married to Ryan Reynolds. These are Hollywood A-listers. He's going to put him on the map. And she agrees to be his female co-star. Great, they're off to the races.
Then came Blake Lively. When she was cast as Lily, the lead character, fans were ecstatic. Lively's ability to convey both strength and vulnerability made her seem like the perfect fit. With Hoover's emotional story, Baldoni's vision, and Lively's star power, the movie seemed destined for greatness. But behind the scenes, things weren't as seamless as they appeared. Trouble began bubbling up during filming, and it didn't take long for whispers of creative disagreements to spread, hinting that the harmonious collaboration everyone expected might be more fragile than anyone imagined.
And that what in fact happened was Justin didn't harass Blake. Blake was interested in wresting control of this movie away from Justin, who was the director and the producer. She was just an actress in it, and used threats and coercion and bullying to do it.
Blake Lively delivered a solid performance, but rumors from the set suggested she didn't limit herself to acting. She reportedly had strong opinions about how the film should be made, getting involved in creative decisions and, in some cases, taking control. Apparently, she wasn't afraid to challenge Baldoni's ideas or propose her own. Some insiders described her as controlling, and that seems to be the most accurate way to characterize her behavior, blurring the line between collaboration and outright dominance on a project that wasn't hers to lead.
Lively has proven, Ryan Reynolds has proven, to be actually the smartest in the room and was likely manipulating her. And it is likely, this is my guess, that Blake and Ryan have messages with her. Because if she's that dramatic in a release statement, she probably was even more dramatic in just being the friend that supports your friend, even when you know you're lying.
And just when it seemed the drama couldn't escalate further, Ryan Reynolds entered the picture. Lively's husband, known for his sarcastic charm and Deadpool fame, reportedly became involved in rewriting portions of the script. Depending on who you ask, this was either a heartfelt show of support for his wife or a classic case of too many cooks in the kitchen, further complicating an already tense set and adding another layer of scrutiny to a production that had started to unravel behind the scenes.
All the roles for me and only me. I want full control because I am a controlling bully.
As filming continued, the atmosphere on set grew increasingly tense. Baldoni, who had begun as the confident leader of the project, now had to navigate both Lively's strong presence and Reynolds' input. What had started as a dream collaboration was quickly devolving into a behind-the-scenes tug-of-war, with creative decisions, egos, and conflicting visions clashing at every turn, leaving the cast and crew caught in the middle of a mounting storm.
Told us that Justinbaldoni claims she tried to take over his movie because she has a history of saying, okay, I'll be the star, but what I secretly want to do is direct it and edit it and produce it.
What should have been an exciting adaptation of a beloved book had become a storm of creative clashes, egos, and constant rewrites. Sadly, this was only the beginning of the drama that would eventually spill into the public eye. It Ends With Us was gradually becoming less about the story itself and more about the chaos surrounding it, as the tension between the cast, crew, and outside influences overshadowed the heartfelt narrative that fans had originally fallen in love with.
Lively's claims that she was allegedly harassed by this guy when they shot the movie It Ends With Us, a film about domestic violence.
Then came the bombshell that sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Blake Lively filed a legal complaint against her co-star and co-director, Justinbaldoni. The accusations were as stunning as they were unsettling. Lively alleged that Baldoni had sexually harassed her during the production, citing incidents of inappropriate behavior on set that ranged from unwelcome advances to uncomfortable discussions of explicit personal topics. These claims also included the alleged mishandling of intimate scenes, where professional boundaries were reportedly disregarded. But behind the headlines, questions began to surface. Were there real reasons behind these allegations, or was this part of a larger, more complicated set of conflicts that had been building for months?
Negative press swirled around her during this whole, a month, right? Later, she would describe this as though it was the pile-on against Trump. Honestly, it's like most of us, especially in Republican politics or the news, this is called Tuesday for us.
The allegations didn't stop there. Lively also accused Baldoni of orchestrating a smear campaign against her, claiming he employed a PR crisis team to manipulate the media narrative in his favor while attempting to discredit her. This allegedly included planting rumors online, fueling social media debates, and potentially coordinating negative press aimed at tarnishing her reputation. For many, the revelation was jarring, especially given Baldoni's carefully cultivated public image as a champion of modern masculinity and feminism, a persona he had meticulously built through his books, public speaking engagements, and previous projects, which now seemed at odds with the claims being brought against him.
The Hollywood actress Blake Lively has filed a legal complaint against her. It Ends With Us co-star Justin alleging sexual harassment and a campaign to destroy her reputation.
The lawsuit triggered a media frenzy that only intensified when Baldoni filed a countersuit, alleging defamation and claiming that Lively's accusations were nothing more than calculated attempts to ruin his career. According to his team, the real drama queen was Blake, using the spotlight to grab attention by any means necessary. What had started as a creative conflict on set had now exploded into a full-blown public spectacle, with both sides leveraging the media to make their case, leaving fans, Hollywood insiders, and the press caught in the middle of a high-stakes battle.
100% Ryan was the one who put this line in here. Not SNL, not Tina Fey, not Blake Lively, but Ryan.
As the drama unfolded, it became glaringly clear that the behind-the-scenes chaos during production might have been a foreshadowing of this very public implosion. Take, for example, the unexpected involvement of Blake Lively's husband, Ryanreynolds. What some viewed as a supportive gesture, others labeled a glaring red flag. Reynolds reportedly played a significant role in reworking parts of the script. Yes, the Deadpool star himself was rumored to have swooped in to help his wife by punching up dialogue and altering character arcs, which some insiders whispered was less about improvement and more about asserting creative control. Because nothing says cinematic masterpiece quite like a superhero-turned-screenwriter stepping in to fine-tune a romance drama.
Justin. She did. I'm sorry. She absolutely adored Justin. We could show you clip after clip after clip. Obviously, you can read the lawsuit and see the emails. And then, like I said, she got Blakeified, Reynoldsified.
But the plot thickened when whispers from the set suggested that Lively's involvement extended far beyond her role as the lead actress. Multiple insiders claimed that her controlling nature had effectively made her the de facto director of the film, leaving Baldoni, supposedly the co-director, reduced to something of a prop on his own set. Lively allegedly called the shots on everything, from camera angles to wardrobe choices, reportedly vetoing ideas with the kind of confidence only a Gossip Girl alum with decades of Hollywood experience could muster. The internet, of course, ate this up. Rumors swirled that her directorial aspirations caused tension early on, with Baldoni struggling to maintain authority while Lively treated the set as her personal kingdom. Add to this the alleged disagreements over how to handle certain scenes, and suddenly, the behind-the-scenes drama was sounding far juicier than the plot of the actual film, a real-life spectacle rivaling any scripted Hollywood narrative, complete with egos, power plays, and a set in chaos.
Blake Lively, you have been nothing but honest, kind, supportive, and patient since the day we met. Thank you for being exactly the human that you are. Never change, never.
While the lawsuits dominated headlines, Hoover made a move that no one saw coming. Despite her strong connection with Baldoni and her appreciation for his work, she apparently couldn't overlook what she viewed as discrimination during the film's promotion. In a surprising and decisive gesture, she deleted all traces of both Baldoni and Lively from her Instagram, signaling a clear break from the chaos and making it obvious where her loyalties and her limits stood. Fans immediately noticed, and the move sent ripples through Hollywood and social media alike.
You can ask the question, why did Colleen delete these posts? Well, some people are speculating, well, she's read through things and now she's on Justin Baldoni's side. I don't feel that.
Gone were the photos from the movie premiere, the posts about working with Baldoni, and even her heartfelt message calling Lively honest, kind, and supportive. It was as if Hoover wanted to erase any connection to the two stars. Fans were left stunned, questioning her motives. Was she trying to stay neutral, or was this a calculated move to protect her future in Hollywood? At first glance, Hoover's Instagram purge might have seemed like a simple attempt to distance herself from the controversy, but her silence spoke volumes. Previously, she had openly praised Lively, calling her kind and patient, yet she remained publicly silent as the legal battle escalated. Even more telling was her decision to maintain her friendship with Baldoni despite the allegations against him. Hoover has clearly drawn a line, protecting her alliances while stepping back from the chaos surrounding Lively.
Has hit Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and her publicist Leslie Sloan with a $400 million lawsuit.
By removing Lively and Baldoni from her social media, Hoover sent a clear signal to the industry that she wasn't taking sides. Some saw this as a savvy career move, while others viewed it as an act of cowardice. Fans accused her of prioritizing her Hollywood ambitions over her loyalty to Lively, and whispers of her being a sellout began circulating online. One thing is clear: the drama surrounding It Ends With Us isn't just a clash between two Hollywood stars. It's a domino effect threatening to take down everything in its path, including Hoover's reputation. Whether her Instagram purge was a deliberate power move or simply an attempt to survive the fallout, it has left everyone asking the same question: what does this mean for her legacy, and is this just the beginning of an even messier saga?
Finally, Justin files his countersuit, and there's major backlash against her for having supported Blake but not having said anything about Justin.
The stakes in this battle couldn't be higher. Baldoni is seeking a staggering $400 million in damages, a figure that underscores the sheer scale of the fallout. His lawsuit paints a picture of a director whose career has been left in ruins, with his talent agency, WME, reportedly dropping him in the wake of the allegations. What had started as a creative conflict on set has now escalated into a high-stakes legal and reputational showdown, with millions of dollars, industry credibility, and personal legacies all hanging in the balance.
You guys, Colleen Hoover just reactivated her Instagram account, and she has apparently deleted all of the photos with Blake Lively.
Not only that, Baldoni also accused Colleen Hoover of siding with Lively without taking the time to hear his side of the story. The situation has escalated into a battle for survival, not just for Baldoni's reputation, but for his entire professional future. What began as a creative disagreement on set has now transformed into a full-blown crisis, threatening careers, alliances, and personal legacies, with every move scrutinized by Hollywood insiders, fans, and the media alike.
Very quickly against Colleen. People expected her to then now give a more informed answer, a more informed response as to how she could have gone along with what is appearing to be such obvious forms of bullying.
Hoover's support didn't last long. As the lawsuits gained traction and the media frenzy intensified, she made a sudden and unexpected move. She vanished from Instagram for weeks. Her account was deactivated, leaving fans and followers speculating about what had prompted her to step away. When she finally returned, the changes were immediately glaring. Gone were posts, photos, and references to both Lively and Baldoni, signaling a decisive shift in her public stance and leaving fans to wonder whether this was a calculated move or a way to distance herself from the escalating drama.
Deactivated her Instagram on January 21st, and she has now just reemerged, and she's cleaned out her Instagram page. She has, without question, deleted 5 Instagram posts, and the internet is certain that these were all of the Instagram posts of her and
Hoover's Instagram had been completely scrubbed of any trace of both Lively and Baldoni. Gone were the posts celebrating the film's premiere, her collaborations with Baldoni, and even her heartfelt messages praising Lively. It was as if she had erased both stars from her narrative entirely, leaving no public acknowledgement of their work or her previous support. Fans noticed immediately, sparking speculation about her motives and sending a clear signal to Hollywood that Hoover was intentionally stepping back from the drama surrounding It Ends With Us.
Readers know what they know what they want to see when it comes to a book that they're so passionate about. And I think a lot of times that can be overlooked. But Justin, from the very beginning, was so adamant on including them because they're the ones, who made the book see the success it's.
This decision didn't go unnoticed. Fans and critics alike began dissecting Hoover's actions, questioning her motives, and accusing her of betrayal. To many, her silence and apparent neutrality seemed like a calculated move to protect her future in Hollywood. Her decision to distance herself from the Lively Baldoni debacle was viewed by some as a strategic masterstroke, a clever way to safeguard her reputation and career. Yet others interpreted it as an act of cowardice, suggesting she prioritized self-preservation over loyalty or integrity, leaving her caught between public scrutiny and industry politics. In Toro 27. But fans saw it differently. Many interpreted Hoover's actions as a symbolic rejection of Lively. By deleting all posts associated with the actress, she appeared to side with Baldoni, at least in the eyes of the public. This perception was fueled by the fact that, despite her Instagram purge, Hoover maintained her friendship with Baldoni. The two had a long-standing professional relationship even before the film adaptation, and her decision to stay connected with him only reinforced the idea that she had chosen him over Lively, signaling where her loyalties truly lay and leaving fans debating whether her actions were strategic, principled, or simply self-preserving.
Oh, he's so wonderful. And Justin in general, like, I'm just a fan of his, on his Instagram and his TikTok pages.
Now, let's talk about Hoover and Justin Baldoni, the man who has become as divisive in this saga as pineapple on pizza. Their friendship goes way back, long before Baldoni took on the role of director and lead for It Ends With Us. Early emails from Hoover to Baldoni, revealed during the legal battle, painted a picture of unwavering trust. She gushed about his passion and vision, calling him the right person to bring her beloved book to the big screen, even citing his work on 5 Feet Apart as proof of his storytelling chops. But here's where it gets murky. While Hoover initially expressed support for Blake Lively when the allegation surfaced, her later actions have told a different story. By scrubbing both Lively and Baldoni from her Instagram and refusing to publicly take a clear stance, she has managed to appear neutral, at least publicly. Behind the scenes, however, her ongoing friendship with Baldoni has raised eyebrows, leaving fans and industry insiders questioning where her true loyalties lie.
That she's posting of Justin Baldoni, not that she has moved to refollow Justin Baldoni, but it seems like she's taking at least a more neutral stance.
Is Hoover quietly favoring Baldoni while keeping her public persona squeaky clean? It's hard to say, but fans have certainly noticed. Some speculate that her apparent neutrality is less about taking the high road and more about protecting her long-standing connection with Baldoni. Others argue that her silence is a subtle way of undermining Lively without explicitly taking sides. After all, actions often speak louder than words, and Hoover's choices, or lack thereof, have fueled plenty of conspiracy theories. By removing Lively from her social media while maintaining ties with Baldoni, she has created a perception of loyalty that leaves fans debating whether she's a principled observer, a strategic player, or quietly influencing the narrative behind the scenes.
Has, you could say, established her brand as someone who is anti-abuse. I think it's really important to now stake a horse in this race and say, I obviously was completely manipulated.
If you thought the drama was confined to Hollywood, think again. Fans and critics alike have turned this controversy into a full-blown social media circus. Some are fiercely defending Hoover, arguing that she's simply trying to protect her career and stay out of a messy legal battle. Others, however, have taken a more cynical view, accusing her of being a sellout who values her Hollywood connections more than loyalty or justice. The debate over her motives has only intensified as every move she makes, or refrains from making, is scrutinized online, fueling endless speculation about whether Hoover is navigating the controversy with calculated caution or quietly shaping the narrative behind the scenes.
It's more likely that what she's doing here is trying to stay out of it. This is the Taylor Swift movement. This is likely a legal strategy. I don't want to be involved in this case.
One of the wildest theories floating around is that Hoover's Instagram purge wasn't just a PR move. It was a calculated takedown of Blake Lively. By erasing all traces of Lively from her account, Hoover effectively removed her from the narrative surrounding It Ends With Us. Fans and critics alike have speculated that this act wasn't merely about distancing herself from the controversy, but a subtle way of shaping public perception, signaling where her loyalties lie and quietly undermining Lively's presence in the ongoing saga without making any explicit statement.
She's going to be called to take the stand and to speak about Justin's behavior.
It's as if Hoover hit the delete button on Lively's involvement entirely, leaving fans to wonder whether this was her subtle way of siding with Baldoni without saying it outright. The move has only intensified speculation, with observers noting that neutrality in such a high-profile feud is nearly impossible to maintain. As Candace wisely pointed out, Hoover will have to take a side sooner or later, and every Instagram purge, deleted post, or silent gesture continues to fuel debates about where her true loyalties and her future in Hollywood truly lie.
You are her lawyer. You are saying to her, you need to be neutral. You need to stay out of this thing. This is not good for you. It's not good for your future. This is going to get ugly very fast. And it has the ability to...
So, what does all this chaos mean for Colleen Hoover's legacy? Let's be honest. This saga has the makings of a Hollywood versus Hoover biopic. We're talking about a best-selling author who rocketed to fame, a glittering lineup of A-list actors, and a drama that has increasingly overshadowed the very stories Hoover wanted to tell. The big question now is whether her carefully maintained neutrality will cement her reputation as a savvy, drama-free professional or leave her stuck in the middle of a mess that ultimately tarnishes her career. Every Instagram purge, deleted post, and quiet gesture is being scrutinized, making it clear that Hoover's choices now carry weight far beyond the page, shaping both her public image and the narrative surrounding one of Hollywood's wildest controversies.
Based on a beautiful, really important book, and it's about a young woman named Lily who confronts the...
First, let's talk about reputation. Colleen Hoover has built an empire on heartfelt, emotionally charged novels, winning the hearts of millions. But now, when fans think of her, is it her tear-jerking stories they remember, or the Instagram purge and her quiet erasure of Blake Lively? Hoover's decision to wipe her account clean of both Lively and Justinbaldoni was intended to signal neutrality, but some interpret it as an act of betrayal. To many, it reads like a thriller-style move. Clean up the evidence and vanish from the narrative. Yet here's the twist. Her neutrality might actually work in her favor. Hollywood loves a comeback, and staying out of the mudslinging could be Hoover's golden ticket to keeping her name out of headlines. By refusing to take sides, she avoids alienating either of her powerful allies, Baldoni, still a major player despite a tarnished reputation, and Lively, who remains a fan favorite amid ongoing legal chaos.
Hollywood power couple Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, and actor and director Justin Baldoni. The plot of this lawsuit is actually more interesting, I believe, than the film that they made.
Now, let's talk about the fallout from the Lively-Baldoni legal war. This battle isn't just between two Hollywood stars. It's a storm threatening Colleen Hoover's entire slate of upcoming projects. We're talking adaptations like Verity and Regretting You, where the success hinges on Hoover staying unscathed by the drama. If the industry begins to see her as too risky to work with, it's a nightmare scenario for any author hoping to see their work on the big screen. Here's the kicker. By staying neutral, Hoover might not be protecting herself at all. Critics have been quick to suggest that her silence could make her appear complicit in Baldoni's alleged misconduct, or disloyal to Lively, whom she once publicly praised. Fans are left wondering whether Hoover sacrificed her values to keep Hollywood happy. At the end of the day, it's a question of survival. Hoover may not have destroyed Blake Lively in the traditional sense, but she has undeniably erased her from the narrative in a way that speaks volumes.